This is Denise with Paper Crafty, and today I am here with you to share my craft room. I'm participating in a collaboration organized by Cara Brandon of Cara Brandon Creations, and she has organized about 18 junk journalers and junk journalers and multimedia artists who are also YouTubers. And we're all going to be sharing over the month of January our craft rooms and different tips and tricks for organization. I will have a list down below of all of the YouTubers who are participating in this challenge. And there's prizes, yay! Cara has on her Facebook group the entire schedule for the entire month of January, and you have lots of time to watch all the videos, and all you have to do are three things. You have to watch the videos, like them, comment, and subscribe. And if you do that for all the videos, for all the YouTubers that are participating over the month of January, then you're eligible for the prizes. And I don't know what the prizes are at the moment, but Cara has all that information on her Facebook group, which is Cara Brandon and Cara Brandon and Friends. If you can't tell, this is my first time actually showing my face on a YouTube video. So, and I'm trying not to get too much glare in my glasses, so that's why my face is kind of tilted down and a little weird. But anyway, it's nice to meet you all. Anyway, this is the hashtag that we're going to be using. It's for LGO 2022 for Let's Get Organized 2022. So if you search for that, you should be able to find all of the YouTubers that are participating in this challenge. And if you want to upload any videos or share photos online on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever social media you use, just go ahead and use that hashtag so we can find you. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and show you my craft room. So here it goes.
Okay, so here is my craft room. I'm going to give you just an overview of the whole thing and try not to shake this camera too much. It's just my phone, so I apologize if it's a little shaky. I am not a professional videographer by any stretch of the imagination, so I apologize in advance if it's not perfect. But yeah, I had a little head start on getting my craft room in order because we switched everything up this last September when my kids, my oldest daughter moved to Seattle for work in June, and then my kids were begging us to switch rooms because she always had the primo room, and so they wanted to switch rooms and get better rooms in the bargain. And my husband resisted for quite a while, for several months, as a matter of fact. And then in September, they finally prevailed upon him, and we switched rooms. And in the bargain, I got my son's old room for all my craft stuff, with the understanding that I would then take all the craft stuff that had seeped to all the different parts of the house and consolidate it here in this one room. I have been somewhat successful in that, but it is still a work in progress. So, yeah. So anyway, so I'm really thrilled to finally have my own craft space. I, for the longest time, shared a space with my youngest daughter and kind of had these I don't know, they're calyx now at IKEA, but they were they used to be the expedite. So I had all of my stuff kind of partitioned off in her bedroom, which was really large. It was designed to be the playroom for the kids. And then as we were building the house, we had a little surprise and found out that she was coming along. So she got the room that was supposed to be the playroom. And I took part of it as my craft room and partitioned it off and used the shelving system right here to partition it and have a place where I could do some crafting. And that worked really well, especially when she was little for the longest time. However, it didn't work so well over COVID because she is now in high school and she had to do her classes online. And so, that just did not work for either of us. So it's really thrilling to finally have my own space where I can, do all the fun things that I love doing. So. Okay, so this area is primarily decorative. I just have some book pages and scrapbooking paper from October afternoon that I framed and hung. And this little nightstand I pilfered from my daughter's room, and I use it to store my pen gem pens that I used to collect and that I use with my planner and really as frequently as possible. My kids like them too, my girls like them too. This armoire, I pilfered that from my daughter's room, and in that I store some larger items that I have. This row of cabinets right here are recollections from Michael's. So I store all my jewelry making stuff for charms and whatnot between here, and then in this little bin. These are just fabric bins from IKEA that fit right into the Calyx and Expedite. And then from this drawer down, these are all my inks. So I have various inks and stamping tools in here. And the bottom drawer are my embossing powders. And I have my heat gun right here. And another cord is along the side here. And I'll show you how I keep that there so that I don't have to keep on going underneath the desk to plug things in. In my Calyx and Expedite, or this top part's a Calyx. I think this one's the Expedite. In this area right here, closest to the desk, I've got all of my paper scraps. So those two cubes right there are paper scraps. That cube are my tools that I use most frequently, like my trimmer, my silicone mat that I use, that sort of thing. This is stuff that I use for junk journaling, including tags and cards and envelopes. These two little bins here have, I think the top is tickets, tags and tickets. And then this one I think is tissue paper and rub-ons, and the bottom one is napkins that I use for decoupage. And then these two bins down here are all of my multimedia tools. So this bin right here is all my multimedia stuff in them. But these two bins closest to the window have pens that I use frequently in my journaling and different kinds of I like to do lettering. So I have a lot of brush pens and stuff, especially in this top bin right there. My Copics I store up there. The inks that I use with Copics for stamping, I store up there. This has a sorter for all sorts of different kinds of pens. Basically all the different kinds of pens that I have. Let's see. In this one, this bin right here, this square, I have a little printer and some a mini printer, and then some tools that I use for my computer and whatnot hidden back in there. I've got some folders, binders for stamping in there. And this I have some more jewelry stuff and then some washi tape. I've got books up there. These two boxes right there are empty. My plan is to be using them for unfinished projects, or where I'm gathering items for projects. The colander and those two boxes there are also empty. Plan on using that for the same reason. And then this box right here has some Christmas items that I'm still using because it's just the new year and I'm still working on some Christmas stuff. This is my desk area. This right here is how I hold my iPhone for videotaping. And you can see I get lots of nice natural light. This is a south-facing window, so I really like that. It really has a lot of good natural light. To the left of my desk, I have, you can see I have my Raskog cart, and the Raskog is usually pulled forward, really like in this area, and it has my most frequently used tools along with the little carousel that's right there. Behind the Raskog, directly behind the Raskog, I have little square drawers that hold all of my stamps, or not all of my stamps, but a good number of my stamps, mainly the acrylic stamps. And then this pull-out Alex cart has all of my wooden stamps. I've got my sewing machine there, and that's like a little sewing station right there. Just to the left of that, the top drawer, is all my sewing notions and all the things I need to keep for sewing. I've got adhesives below that, two drawers, one with glue and one with kind of dry adhesives. I've got a drawer for glitter and metal, and then one other thing. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I have to remember. This area over here, this is my die cutting center. So all of this is die cutting. So I've got my Sizzix machine here, and I've got all of these are dies and embossing folders in these little square drawers. To the right of that, I have all of my punches. These are all my shape punches and border punches and around the page punches, all sorts of punches. And back in this little corner, once you pull out this drawer, there's some more punches in there and some, I think, envelope punch boards and various things along those lines. This wall right here, this cabinet is all fabric. And I have more fabric than can actually even fit in there. So that's, yeah, I've got a lot of fabric. These little bins here, I've got my planner. planner stuff. I've got, this is all the tools that I need for my Sizzix machine. These are kind of miscellaneous things that I want to use up. A lot of stickers and things like that. And then this bin has puzzles. All these things are storage for embellishments, and this is all my bling in this carousel here, and then this is washi. I have a bunch of washi in there. This is my desk for my typewriter, and my drawers in there store paper. I've got this little shelf area here that I use to kind of hold some of the things that I want to make sure that I keep out and I use. I've got these little hanging cups for some more pens. That used to be right near my desk in my old craft room, and that was probably a little more functional there, but it'll be useful for this little area as well. And then here's some more stamps. And then in my closet area, it opens up. I'll go more into detail later, but basically this is all my paper storage. These 6 or 8 cubes are all paper storage back there. All my paints are stored on this little cart. These bins have a variety of different things in it. I've got all my scraps in here. And then I've got all kind of my specialty papers and printer things and Project Life stuff here. Yeah, so I'll go through it more in depth later, but you can see kind of that's kind of the organizational structure for this. I recently was able to go ahead and do some decorating in here, which I just love. I took some pictures from some old children's books and put them in there. I have some October afternoon print pages on those two, and again just some children's books pages. And then I'm so excited. I went through, I have I have a bin of stuff from when I was a little girl and things that my mom and my grandparents had saved for me. And so I have this bin, and I haven't been through it in years, and I found this cute little it's like a little sweeper thing that was for kids. Anyway, I just love it. I put it there. I'm going to be going through that bin more thoroughly to find things that I can use to decorate my room. Another couple things that I found was my sweet little Raggedy Ann, and you can see I completely loved off her eyes. Her mouth she's filthy, poor thing. I don't know if there's a way I can clean her or not. But her clothes are very clean. I guess I washed those at some point, but the doll itself, you can see where I used to kiss her on her mouth and everything, and she's just absolutely filthy, poor little thing. And I found this little sewing machine that I had when I was a child, which I just love. Stuff. All right, I'm going to show you what's in the armoire. Let's see. I have to say, doing a craft room tour is more challenging than I anticipated. But this is it's hard to know what level of detail to go into. But I'm just going to do an overview really quickly and not, open a lot of drawers and stuff. And then I might do a separate video that with more detail. But Most of these have labels. This one is just some vintage items that I want to put, that I've put in here because I want to make sure I use them in upcoming junk journals. I've got labels in here. I've got journaling spots and journaling stacks in here. All sorts of different kinds of tags in here. This is miscellaneous stuff. I've got these fasteners. I've got stuff to reinforce the spines. And then I've got a bunch of junk that I want to use in my junk journals. And this was supposed to be limiting me in how much junk I collect. And some of that junk has overflowed into miscellaneous. So I've really got to crack down and make sure that I use that up or throw it away, because my goal is to limit the amount of junk that I have to just this bin. I've got envelopes and I've got some file folders in there. And then this bottom drawer is various types of book pages so that I can use in my junk journals. And these are ones that have already been, some of them are books that have already been disassembled. Some of them are ones that I just want to make sure that I pull first and use. Okay, so that is the Armoire. Okay, I've already talked about the bins. I've got some books right here that I can use in junk journals. I've got books up there across the top as well. Some of them are just old books that, I thought were really cool and would be fun to display in here. And others of them are books that I can use for junk journals if I choose. This area here, from here up, is intended to be, and this right there is intended to be for kind of jewelry making and charms for junk journals. So that's, and this drawer and that up there are really kind of a hot mess. It's just like I've thrown a bunch of stuff in there and it's not well organized. So these are all pretty well organized in terms of brads and charms and findings and some buttons. And this is, again, some more beads and stuff. And again, more charms and stuff in here. But I definitely need to work on organization a little bit for my jewelry making supplies. Okay. And then I have several drawers dedicated to my ink pads, various ink pads, my distress inks, my oxides, my mini inkers. I've got a couple drawers of stamp tools, and the very bottom are where my embossing powder is. Okay, so one of the things I really like about this is I put my heat embossing tool right here. And this is a Wagner. This is one that Jennifer McGuire recommends. I had another one until it broke, probably within the last couple years. And this is what she recommends to replace it. It's very high temperature and very efficient. I really have loved this. This is a really good one. I got one of those holders that's like plastic that goes over the edge, and that thing just didn't really work very well for me. So I kind of stuck this in here. And one of the things that I did is I ran an extension cord. And you can see I have a little command hook right here, but I ran an extension cord around the back of this armoire, because the plug is like on the behind this armoire. Okay, so I ran this extension cord. It's just this little one here, and this has I like it because it has a place for the light that goes right there, this little clip-on light. And then I have a place to plug in my my heating tool, so I don't have to go, way under there where I plug in a lot of my, computer and other things, it's hard to access. So this is just a really nice place to plug in things that I need to, don't use all the time, but that I want to be able to access. And I have an open one right here, and I use that for my Epson scanner. I really like being able to take that whole thing, put it on my craft table, and then plug it in over here, because it's not something I use all the time, and I don't have to mess with plugging it in back there and having the cords tangle and all of that. So this is kind of nice. I just keep this off to the side and hanging on that little command hook, which I just put on the side of these Michael's bins. So that makes it really accessible and kind of out of the way, but yet useful. And I also, so these bins across the top up here, you know, are just very loosely organized. I have a bin, like I said, for more jewelry stuff, for bindings, for doing charms that hang off the spines of junk journals. I've got a bin that has all my Cricut and Silhouette stuff in there. I don't use my Cricut anymore, but some of the tools for Cricut I now use for my Silhouette. I have ribbon in these two bins, and I have lace up in this bin. I've got Tim Holtz supplies in here, and this is not super organized. It's just a bunch of packages of Tim Holtz products, ephemera that are kind of loosely organized in there, that I can pull from when I know I want to use something of his. And I've got two bins of flowers. Work on, you know, a lot of these things, you know, I like to have some things visible, you know, and clear, in clear containers, and I like a mix of that, you know, with these clear containers and stuff over here. But I also like some things just kind of out of the way and you know, not messy, and then when I want them, I can just look through them. Okay, so the next one I'm going to show, I have two things of ribbon. They're separated out. Those are, let's see, white, black, brown, beige, gold, and purple. And then the one down here is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, pink, and silver. And then I have a separate one for lace and floss. I'm going to pull one of these down and kind of show you what's in it and how I organize those. Okay, so this is the one with the white, gold, and all that. And what I do is I just put them into bags per color. So these are all my white ones. You know, I used to have, I've gone through several iterations of what I do with my my ribbons. I at one point had them all on little clear floss things that I made. You can see this one's an example of, see, I'd put all of these, like I'd made these little clear holders and put all of my ribbon on there. I found that I just didn't really use them that much that way. You know, and then I went through a phase where I put them all in clear containers, and each color had its own clear container. That took up a lot of room. And I just didn't, you know, I didn't find myself using them that much that way either. So this is ivory, this is my brown, this is my black. So I find that this just kind of works for me. I mean, it's out of the way, it's not an eyesore, and you know, I'm able to find what I want. I usually do it by color, and so, you know, when I'm ready to pull out a color and use a color, I just pull out, that bin, and then I have the ribbons that I use for, in that color family. So this has seemed to work for me. And usually when I'm doing a project, I will go ahead and I'll pull different trims and ribbons for that specific project before I even start. And then, what things that I think I'm going to use. And then I can just put them, I don't have to be so precise, about putting them back. I can just, throw them back in the bag when I'm done, and it makes cleanup a lot easier and simpler. And I'm actually willing to put things back. Whereas when everything was super hyper organized with the little, these little, clear things that I put ribbons on, it was just a pain in the neck to put everything back the way that they were. And I just didn't do it. So things were a big mess. So this seems to work for me. And you really have to, when you're doing organization like this, you really just have to find what works for you, at the time. And, I have a lot of ribbon. So to try to organize them, and some I have in really large quantities, because like I was teaching a class and I have, I bought 10 rolls of this rose ribbon, and I love the rose ribbon. It's great. It's fantastic. But, you can't, how do you store that, in a nice little container, rolled up? It's not super functional. So, especially when I was teaching classes, I bought some things in larger quantity, and it just wasn't really feasible to have it super, on these, really well organized on these little clear things like that. So, you just have to find what works for you. And, depending on your situation, you and how much of something you have, that may work. Something like this may work. If you have too much and it's just becoming overwhelming to even put things away anymore, something like this may work for you. Okay, so I'm going to close this up and put it back, and then I'll be back. Okay, and then down here, this is my desk area. I'm just going to go very quickly over it, and then I'm going to do a more detailed video as a follow-up. So this area is kind of a catch-all area. I've got some of my most frequently used washi tape there. I've got some hand cream. I've got alcohol inks and tools for alcohol inks up there. I've got my distress ink pens, and this is more jewelry stuff that goes, with this section here. These are tickets and bags that can be used to decorate a junk journal, cards and envelopes and journaling spots. And this is all kind of my multimedia area, this cube and that one down here. This has all my tissue paper and rub-ons. This has all of my napkins that I use to decoupage onto different items. I've got some stencils in here, and then this is an area just with some notes and stuff, different kinds of tips. I've got all my mixed media liquids in there, gesso, texture paste, things like that. The bottom has all my tools, my scraping tools, my brushes, various things along those lines. I've got this Diane Reevely multimedia journal here. I've got a jelly plate and a box that I use to spritz inks and stuff in. This is all my tools, my trimmer and my silicone surfaces, things like that go in there. I've got all of my scraps sorted here. And up here, I've got some Tim Holtz stamps in here. I've got a little place to journal, put some notes. I haven't started using that one yet, so that's something that I'm going to be hopefully implementing this year, but a place to write ideas, projects and goals and things like that. This binder is an idea binder. I got this, I pilfered this from my daughter's room. She didn't want it anymore. And she plays soccer, so I'd gotten this as a goal digger, but I thought it was cute. So I thought, you know, it's appropriate for me as well, you know, to have goals and to work toward them. This is a little decorative turnstile that I don't currently have anything on. This area over here, I've got this little light that kind of bends out of the way. I usually put my planner right here. I've got 3 binders. Those 3 binders are all small stamps that I have in sheet protectors. They're kind of like the playing card sheet protectors for like card collecting. I've got my Jane Davenport mermaid markers here, and you can see this one's really worn off, but these are samples of all the colors that I had made up. This coral really is faded by, these are not light fast. I've got one more set that doesn't fit in this container. Got my cute little lady with, it has some blades for my silhouette. I've got my pens over there, Copics, and my brush tip pens and things like that. I really love those. And here's more pens back in there. Got a lot of pens. This area, I've got a little Epson printer. I haven't even used this one yet, but you know, I anticipate I'm going to be using it more now that Costco no longer has a you know, they don't do in-house printing. So I'm, you know, looking forward to using that. I've got some electronic stuff back there, and then miscellaneous stuff back here. In here I have things that I use fairly frequently, like this one right here. I have some Kleenex, and I have little microfiber cloths and some spray, and I use these to clean off my phone, the lenses for the camera, as well as my glasses, especially when I'm, you know, filming. I like to have that handy there. So just things I use frequently. I've got other miscellaneous things that I can put in here, and these are my frequently used inks, and this is just an area to put, you know, right now it has some spent staples, but throw that in the garbage. But I usually use it to put like little cut pieces and things like that. And then that goes back up there. I've got my mouse pad that is also a place where I can jot notes. I've got my little turnstile that has all my tools in it, which is cool. And got my light. I've got my little Woody Woodpecker. This was my favorite book when I was little, so a little Woody Woodpecker book. So that's one that I have from my childhood. So I like to keep it right there where I can see it. And then my Mac, which I use every day. I use it constantly. And this is my cutting surface. It's just a clear guess they use these for sewing, right? And then this is my outdoor view with all of the eucalyptus trees. Here in San Diego, we use those frequently. And this is my arm that I attach my phone to right here for videotaping. And then I just plug it into my computer with this cord. And am able to record right directly to my Mac. And actually, it doesn't record directly on my Mac. I have to transfer it to my Mac, but it records my phone. But I can view what I'm doing through QuickTime app. And then I have my external hard drive and a little thing says "Follow your bliss." This is a little thing I can put my little cut pieces in as well. This Raskog cart, I use this every day, and this has a lot of stuff on it. This is basically all my most frequently used stuff, and I'm going to go over this more in detail in a follow-up video. But just for now, just know that it has all of my most frequently used things, and you know, I can just sit here I've got like this little, I'm kind of surrounded on 3 sides with all of my stuff, which is kind of nice. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to this area next. All right, so this is my cameo, my silhouette. I haven't used that much since I've moved to this new room, so I'm excited to get a chance to use that more. I have these little, I think these are little shelving units from IKEA, and I've put them along the edge of this counter, and it's just a place where I can display you know, some embellishments that I want to make sure I use up. So I kind of like that because it's a nice little display area, and you can also use it for your Project Life cards if you have, you know, if you do Project Life. To the left of my cameo is my sewing machine. And I have to say, I use this all the time. And honestly, Bernina is not something I would have bought myself. But my mom bought this and she gifted it to me when she found she wasn't really using it that much. And I use it almost on every single project I do. It is definitely more sewing machine than I need, but I really, really love it. And it's a cute little red one. And so I've really, you know, tried to incorporate the red and the teal / mint and pink into this craft room as kind of my color scheme, along with the, you know, gray neutrals. I have a drawer for sewing, my extra adhesives there, glue, separate one for glue, foiling and flocking, glitter, and metal work on the very bottom. All of these little drawers here are for my stamps. Let's see. I'll open this one up. Most of my stamps I've taken out of their original packaging and put them into these CD cases. It's hard to see. There we go. It's much easier to see like that. So I just took them out, put them in the CD cases, and then I store them like that. And then I can just, you know, especially if it's not quite so full, if I take a few of them out, it's easy to kind of flip through them and, you know, see what words I have, whatnot. So yeah, I like that system. So all of these are my stamps. Now, unfortunately, I've already mentioned that I have stamps, the Tim Holtz stamps there, and I have 3 binders of mini stamps, just the little like dollar spot stamps. I also have all my wooden stamps in here, in this cart. Now, I have not unmounted them, but I do really love my stamps. And then the other spot where I have stamps is this, let's see, this is a CD or, yeah, CD holder towers. So I have some stamps in here as well. And these are kind of labeled animals. So these are animals in nature. Here's birds. Here's owls. Here's some kitty cats. Got some school. In my other craft room, they were this direction. So I think I need to switch everything the other direction so I can actually see them when I pull them out. But yeah, so you kind of get the idea. So they're kind of somewhat labeled, but I do need to turn them around. I do have some travel ones here and whatnot. And I also have some stamps right here. These were in my old craft room. This was right above my desk area. And these were kind of some of my most frequently used ones. Looks like that one fell out. These are some of my most frequently used ones, especially Allie Edwards. But yeah, it's not quite as functional in this space. And these are my wooden stamps, like I said. And the nice thing about this is because it's a rolling cart, I can roll this out and I move it over here. And I'm going to do that and show you what I have back here. Okay, so when I roll that out, obviously then I can bring my chair over here and do my sewing. And day to day, this is usually how my space is configured. This gives me another surface area to just, pile stuff up for the project that I'm working on. So when I'm sitting here, it's kind of like this. I've got this work area here, all my stuff that I use most frequently. I've got this little surface area. I've got my space where I'm videotaping and working. And I adjust my blinds so that I don't get that glare. There we go. Do it a little teeny bit more. There we go. And then, I have all my stuff over here that I can use. Okay, so this is really day to day how I usually keep this configured. But when I'm not working on a specific project, I can roll this in here and then I, roll my cart over here and then I have more room. And it just looks a little nicer. Okay, this section here is all punches. All my various, let's see, I'll do this one. These are my edge punches, shape punches. This is corner and shape punches, okay? So these are all my punches, this entire row. I also have some Creative Memories punches that somebody gifted me. And then I have a Caloozle, which anybody who's been in the scrapbooking world for a while might recognize that. And that's also a shape cutter. I used to love that thing. I have some various other items back here, envelope maker, things like that. This area is more washi tape, and I have it all organized by color in here. And this was, again, a lot more functional in my old space, which is why I had to take some of, this was right near my desk, which is why I had to take some of them and put them, you know, right there, the ones that I use most frequently. So ideally this would be closer to my desk, but it works the way it is. It's fine. And I've got a couple lights, place for my pins, for my sewing machine. And this area here is my die cutting area. I just got this big shot. I haven't actually used this one yet. I had a Tim Holtz Vagabond, and it had a very unfortunate and untimely accident right before in November. I'm so bummed. Actually, it might even be in October when that happened, but super bummed about that. But I got this at Tuesday morning, and it was a really good price. So, and it actually even matches my craft room. So I'm not too upset, although I am very upset about the Vagabond. This is a little scale that's not really functional in this room, but it was my grandmother's, and I just love it. I think it's super cute. Down here, I have all of my die cutting and embossing folders. So like this one's embossing and cutting. So I have all my, I think these are all the Tim Holtz embossing folders in the very front. And then I have them organized by shape. Like this is hearts here, and some of them are cut die cuts, and some of them are die cuts that go with the with the embossing folders. This was really useful. I took and sewed up some CD cases, and I was able to put some of these smaller embossing folders in there. So yeah, so these are my embossing folders. I'm not going to open all the rest of these. These are the same type of thing, but with die cuts. And some of them are the real thick ones, so that's why there's so many of them. This is all my die cutting plates and tools. So, you know, I have this whole die cutting section that kind of goes together. And let's see. Okay, this is all my bling. I've got like a lot of gems and things like that on here, and pearls, adhesive pearls, those types of things, gem words, gem swirls from Prima, that sort of stuff is all on this thing. And it's on a like a Lazy Susan, so it twirls. This, you know, I love being able to see what I have. So I like all these clear bins. There's some basic organization to this. I've got, you know, pearls and, you know, wooden shapes and flowers, and all my keys are in here. You know, I've got some bottle caps, got little corners, book corners, words, more book corners. And then this one has a bunch of felt shapes. I've got labels that I've taken off of clothing. This has some acetate pieces. Got a ton of rings. I used to do a lot of board books, so I had a lot of rings for that. Chipboard pieces, gems. These are all letters, and the back are all clips, either clothespins or, yeah, these are all clothespins, and these are all different shaped paper clips, and different lobster clips and things like that. So yeah, and this countertop, I just put on top of these recollection, these are all from Michael's, and the countertops I just got at Home Depot and had them cut to size. And that worked really well, to give me a little bit of counter space on top of these drawer units. This is stuff for my planner. This unit right here, this thing, that's a Pottery Barn unit that was in my son's room, and there's the bottom that it was on, and there's the bottom that it was on, and I just separated those two. I don't need all this leg room because I'm kind of short. I'm only 5'6", so that's plenty of leg room for me, and I use that to store some other stuff. I'll go through that shortly in a separate video. But this is really nice for storage. You know, I have some puzzles in here. I have, these are things I want to use and I want to use up. So, you know, I've put these in here. They're a lot of adhesive stuff that I got from the dollar store and just things that I've had for a while that I really want to use up. This is all my planner stuff. This area is fairly decorative. Inside this little gumball machine, I have a lot of what is that called? They're like little shapes, confetti, different kinds of confetti, shaped confetti. These are little frames and things like that, and acetate letters and numbers and things. This is something I made my son. It should be in his part of his board book. I gave that to him already. I have to give that to him. You know, I just have some miscellaneous stuff in here. It's somewhat decorative, somewhat utilitarian. I haven't been through this in a while, so this might not be super organized. It was from I just kind of moved it over from my craft room the way it used to be. This are a bunch of journals that I've made. So I just kind of put them in here because I didn't really have another place to put them for the moment. So I thought that was kind of a fun little place. And this is something my daughter made. I thought that was super cute. Okay, so now we'll move over to here. Okay, so that's that area overall. The one thing I forgot is that this here is where I store all of my fabric. So this is, you know, 3 drawers. I thought, oh, this is so much room. It'll be perfect. Oh my gosh. It's already overflowing. I'm already overflowing this entire dresser of fabric. So fabric for me, I don't know if it's an organizational issue or just that I have too much of it and I need to pare it down. So yeah, part of it is that I have like an entire, like in this drawer, I don't think I can even open this one. Oh my gosh. I have an entire, comforter that's in there, you know, so I don't know. I have a weakness for fabrics. I've got to figure out something for that. I have a really nice Carl trimmer down there, but I never really used that. I bought it when I was doing scrapbooking and everybody was raving about it, and I honestly just never used it. So it's down there. You really need a countertop to put that on. I kind of thought I would use this for that, but when I move this underneath here, the curl trimmer doesn't fit on it. So yeah, that part's not working so well. I either need to find a home for that, start using it, or get rid of it. So right now it's just sitting down there. I've got some games that I want to use for making junk journals, so I could just have them kind of stuff down there. And now let's see. Oh yeah, I've got one more of these. And I really like how I have like some of these old books. I'm really happy that I was able to display them on top of these like open cabinets here. I think they're a lot of fun. I really like the way that turned out. And these posters are DCWV. They just came in a tube. There's one more that came with this set, but I didn't hang it up in this room. These two are actually from my childhood, so I'm super excited to be able to put those up. I don't know why my grandmother has two of the same one, but you know, she was my grandma, so she loved me. And then this is, again, there's some utilitarian things on here. This one definitely has a lot more display than utility. My daughter, my youngest, gave me this little doggy for Valentine's one year, so I have to display that proudly. I've got this little clock that I think I just purchased that one. That wasn't a family heirloom or anything, but I found this little TWA bag in my bin that had all of my childhood stuff. I just love it. It's so cute, and I had all sorts of little treasures inside of it. Right now it's empty, but I can put some stuff. I could store stuff in there if I wanted to. So I've got this, and there's some jewelry. You can see there's some jewelry that's stored in there, and some flowers, various things. So this is my other seating area, and initially when I made this room, I was going to be, I designed it with the intention of being able to use it also as a guest room. So initially I was not putting anything from here to the closet. I was going to put like a convertible bed there and have it as a place where, you know, we could have guests, or my daughter, when my daughter comes to visit, she could sleep in here. Well, then I remembered, my youngest didn't want to keep this desk in her room. She wanted to use her sister's desk which is much larger and better frankly for a computer. But this is part of a set that was my mom's, then mine, and then my oldest daughter's, and now my youngest daughter's. And it's part of a bedroom set, and it used to be like a walnut color. My daughter and I spent a long time, like a month, refinishing and wax painting, painting this, and then, waxing all of the furniture in her bedroom. And so I couldn't get rid of this. So I decided I'd go ahead and put this in here. And if I have somebody that, wants to craft with me, they have a place to craft. I also have a place to come and use my typewriter, and I can display it all the time, which is really nice. So, this is just another another seating area. And, you know, a way not to have to get rid of something that, you know, is an heirloom and want to pass down in the family. This is really cute. This little cupcake is actually an Avon perfume bottle that was in my bin of things that I had from my childhood. So yeah, so that's really fun. And there's just a bunch of little things, you know, here just that I can display, you know, and some functional storage, some stamps and various little things. This light was in my son's room. Just brought it in here. And I just have like papers and various papers and stuff stored inside this desk. Some vintage items that I want to scan and use, digitize for my Etsy shop. I've got this little, this was also in my daughter's room. It's like a little footstool, but it opens up. I have this little bin that has all of my roller stamps. I had a different storage solution for that in my previous craft room, but it took a lot of wall space and I was kind of running out of it in here. So I decided not to do that again. I really like the way it looked, but I don't use these roller stamps as much as it merited the wall space. So I figured I'll just put them in the bin for now, see how that works out. This bin has, you know, some papers and some stuff that I'm still going through. Okay, we're nearing the end, I promise. All right, so that's my desk. I took the chair from my older daughter's room. My younger daughter got a much more professional office chair, so she didn't need that anymore. And I have like a little blanket for when it gets chilly in here. And then my little kitty loves to curl up on that chair. That's her favorite spot. Got a garbage can. I've got some wrapping paper and various large format papers there. Some more places to hold pens, various pens that I have. And then I've got this pegboard, and I haven't utilized it yet for this new space. So that may stay there, that may not stay there. I'm not entirely sure. This was all black and it was a little bit dark for this room, so I put some white duct tape on there, and then some other clear tape over the top with these blue dots. So that's how I got that frame around that to kind of match more the room. But I don't know. I'm gonna decide whether I want to keep that in here or not. I suspect I might not. But it's there for now. We'll see. We'll see how useful it is. I really like one of the other gals. What was, I forget who it was. Had a an IKEA pegboard that had like clear bins in it that I really loved. I don't know that I need more clear bins, but that might be a use for that area. I might like that better. But for now, it'll work. Okay, so then this is the closet area right here. And open it up, and I've got my other expedite shelving in here. And then I have some more of those Michaels bins. One thing I really like here, there's a couple things I really like here, I'll point out to you. I have another one of these Raskog carts, and I really love this one. I put all of my paints on here, every last paint that I own. And I found that and my brushes and all the tools that, that I use. And I have found that I really have been using the paints now that they're kind of all in one space, and I can roll the whole cart over to my spot and do what I want to do with them. And I really, really love it. I really love it. Now I found these after I set up the cart, so that's why they're in a baggie on top here, as well as these. So everything was nice and organized until I found more. So yeah, this is how it was. So these are kind of just shoved on top until I use up more of them. Okay, so this is my Expedite, and this is a little children's cart that I'm going to use for something. I don't know what yet. I'm going to put something in there. I've got a couple cutting pads kind of shoved in there. I've got all of my 8.5 by 11 paper here in various colors. I've got all my 12 by 12 cardstock there. I've got patterned paper here, and these are ones that I want to use up right away. And then this is all of my kind of expensive scrapbook paper, and it's all organized by brand. So I've got Teresa Collins, Prima, Webster's Pages, October Afternoon, that sort of stuff. So those, those are my special papers. Behind these bins, I have 6x6 paper pads. I don't know if you can see that. So that is not super functional, but it's the way I've got it right now. I've got more behind those. I've got a set of encyclopedias, a couple sets of encyclopedias back there, a bunch of books. I've got my mink right there, which I don't use all the time, so keeping it up there is not a big deal for me. I just pull it down when I need it. My husband, just before the New Year's, wanted something laminated, so I pulled that down. So it was underneath here, but now it's up here. I've got this thing, which is it's a paper cutter. It's a Quick Cuts or Dream Cuts, that's what it is. And so when you're, especially when I was teaching classes, I would use that to quickly do a lot of paper, cut a lot of paper in the same size. So that's a nice tool for, when you're doing that. I've got all my Prismacolors and pastels in here, my watercolors, my stickles, my perfect pearls. I've got tools that I don't use all that frequently in here, like I've got a brad maker, a button maker, things like that. I've taken some of my masks out of here, but I've got masks and sprays there, like the Tattered Angels. In here I have a lot of music pages that I've purchased in various places to use in junk journals. Down there that's not marked, but that is a lot of vintage ephemera. I've got sticky notes and notepads, and I've got snaps and eyelets in here. I keep most of my eyelets in these. These are my small ones. I really love these containers. These work out really well for my eyelets. Okay, and here, These are Michael's cubes. Oh, before I get to that, I'm going to move this out of the way. This is just a felt hamper that I got at Target, and I've put all of my scraps in here. And this is many, many, many years of scraps. So even before I started junk journaling. So this is a lot of scraps, but I want to use them up and I didn't want to throw them away. Down here, I've got stuff from, ribbons for the printer, for the typewriter, and I've got printer cartridges, things like that. This looks like it's all, these are stickers that I want to use, up. So, chipboard and stickers. Okay. I've got my glue gun here. I've got all my laminating stuff here. And then I've got a lot of sequins and confetti in here. And that is a little bit of a hot mess that needs to be organized. I've got my Project Life cards in here. I still do some scrapbooking, and I like using these in my junk journals as well. I've got more Project Life cards in here and in here. I've got all my Mink things in here. I've got a smaller Mink machine in here as well. So that's actually kind of nice. I haven't even tried using that one yet. I got that at Tuesday morning for a song. So I thought I might pull that out more frequently if I had a smaller size. I've got some Mink foil. I've got a lot of Mink, all the sprays and paints and stuff that you use with the Mink. And over here I have a bunch of vinyl. And then this is a vinyl holding thing for my silhouette. Then more vinyl sheets here. This is a December daily from 2015 that I have not finished. And I had ambitions to do that. Yeah. So that's why it's there. I've got a bunch of sheet protectors. I use these very frequently, so I like keeping those there. These are sheet protectors for, the 12x6 albums, as well as little 8x8 albums or 6x8 albums. I've got some coffee tea dyed papers here. I've got some avocado dyed papers here. I've got vellum, mulberry paper, watercolor paper, metal, a lot of metal, various different things in here. This is fun foam, shrinky dinks. This is all silhouette stuff and printer stuff. This is all stuff for the printer that I can print. This is sticky back canvas, and this is white sticker paper for the silhouette. All this is printable stuff. I've got all my acetates are here. This is printable acetate. Some of this is inkable but not printable. I've got various acetate papers here, and then these are printed acetates, old Hambly acetate papers. Got all of those, and then I've got some die cut 12x12 papers down here. I've got specialty paper like this. This is wood paper. And then here's more Project Life. These are little kits, snap kits. Okay. Lots of books. These are books that I actually want to use in junk journals. And I've got a lot of them. I got a lot of books. I like books. Up here, I've got a couple other books that are too big. I've got my old planners up here. These are also planners. Some of this is washi tape, but some of this is just like the big packing tapes that I have in there. I've got my sewing kit up there. I've got a bedazzler, believe it or not. I still have it. I have a flower drying kit that I was gifted that I haven't used yet. I've got a bunch of alphas left over from scrapbooking days. I've got some chipboard alphas, and I've got tags, shears, and grunge board. Boy, that's how long I've been doing this. Okay. And then this I use when when taking photos and videotaping. It's a, matter of fact, I probably need to get a clean one. But it's a white foam core and some paper. And then up on the top, I just have things that I don't, I want to store, I don't want to get rid of, but I'm not using right this minute. There's a lot of Project Life, Studio Calico stuff, Allie Edwards kits. I've got my Creative Memories stuff, some Project Life, 12 by 12 kits. Yeah, these are all my 12 by 12 things, which I'm not even using anymore, really. More 12 by 12. I've got planners that I don't ever have to buy a planner again as long as I live. Yeah, and then some Allie Edward kits and Studio Calico kits up in there. So, yeah, stuff I'm not really using, but that, I don't want to get rid of. And then I've also got this little shelving unit that I put up against the desk. I had been gifted that, and I just took and used zip ties to tie it to the legs of the desk. And in there I just put some stuff that I want to remember I have so that I can use it in my projects. And I think it looks cute. All right, so that is my craft room. I hope you enjoyed this tour and that you found it useful in getting some ideas for your own space. One of the things I like best about this is that I was able to really use what I had in other rooms. And yeah, there was an investment up front with Expedite and the Michaels cubes and things like that. But I did really pilfer a lot of things from other places in the house and kind of cobbled it all together. And I really like the eclectic look. I like that, some of the storage is open and visible and some of it is closed and the mess is hidden away. And I really like that I was able to incorporate some of my really special things that are keepsakes for me. That was a special treat, just to be able to pull those out again, and get to enjoy them. I'm not getting any younger, and if I don't enjoy them now, what's the point? So I'm really having a lot of fun having them in my space and and really being able to appreciate them and have a space of my own that I can do whatever I want in. So anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You know the drill. Like, leave me a comment. If you'd like to see a more detailed studio tour of any particular area, let me know. I'm already going to be doing a more detailed, in-depth exploration of my desk area. But if there's anything else that you are particularly curious about, let me know. And, you know, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Enjoy your crafting and your crafting space. And, you know, most of all, do what works for you and, you know, do what makes you happy. Again, this is Denise with Paper Crafty, and craft on.